And it's official. With the 12 million downloads celebration, it has been announced that all masters who have cleared the Fuyuki Singularity will receive a free SR 4-star ticket. With a bountiful menu of servants on offer, making a choice can be difficult. Of course, I would always recommend selecting your favourite servant that is available, but if you're looking for something a bit more gameplay related, here is part 2 of my top 10 SRs that I would recommend for beginners. If you missed part 1, you can find a link to it in the description below. Now, let's begin. Of all the farming servants in Fate's Grand Order, there may be none as widely loved and used as Lancelot. Berserker Lancelot has the potential to be one of the strongest and most effective farmers in the entire game, especially when paired with Skata Skadi. Lancelot's primary farming tool is his area of effect Noble Phantasm, Knight of Owner. Buffed by Skadi, Knight of Owner becomes a powerful tool for quickly wiping out entire waves of enemies. In addition to damage and an overcharge which increases Lancelot's attack, one of the biggest benefits of his Noble Phantasm is that it drops a tremendous number of critical stars, especially when paired with Lancelot's second skill, Protection of the Spirits rank A, which increases Lancelot's critical star drop rate. The stars gained from this Noble Phantasm can then be used in multiple ways next turn. If it is against waves, then you can crit each one of the enemy opponents. Alternatively, if it is against an enemy boss, the same can be done, but specifically targeting them. These stars can either be used by all members of the party for critical hits. Alternatively, if you have Lancelot's command cards available and want him to use it, then first you can use Eternal Arms Mastery in order to increase his star pull weight. This helps counteract the Berserker class's poor star weight in general. This will allow Lancelot to do hefty critical damage. That said, when bolstered by Skadi and by using his second skill, the Noble Phantasm often drops 50 critical stars, making this unnecessary. Having attracted the stars, if Lancelot's command cards are available the turn after, then you can make use of his third skill, Mana Reversal rank A. Mana Reversal has two effects. Firstly, it massively increases Lancelot's critical damage strength. This is particularly potent if used in conjunction with Skadi's Primordial Rune, the skill's second aspect, inbuilt NP gain. This allows Lancelot to recharge his NP gauge, creating the possibility, especially if he is being used within a double Skadi setup, of once again firing off Knight of Owner. Another advantage of Lancelot Berserker is his own Berserker class. The Berserker class has class advantage over all classes except the extremely rare Foreigner class. This means that Lancelot as a farmer is suitable in almost any scenario, as he does gain that class advantage damage buff that other competent farmers such as Altria, Lancer, Alter may not always have. Finally, in specific scenarios, Berserker Lancelot has the potential to loop his Noble Phantasm, Knight of Owner. This is often when he is used in a double Skadi system and ensures quick farming. That said, Skadi of course is a limited character and a very rare one at that. However, there are key flaws in Lancelot's game that prevent me from outright saying he is the best choice. By far the biggest problem with Lancelot is that without a support, Lancelot's value greatly diminishes. His NP gain is quite frankly atrocious. Furthermore, he isn't going to be helping your team very much, particularly in non-farming scenarios. His critical kit is entirely reliant on usage of his Noble Phantasm to generate critical stars. Without it, even using Protection of the Spirits will not be enough to make him an effective critical star drop servant. Thus, if there is no means of using his Noble Phantasm, there is no means of really being able to use Lancelot effectively. He is also a highly vulnerable character with absolutely no form of survivability. Overall, Lancelot has a well-earned reputation as a highly competent farmer. That said, if he doesn't have a support character like Skata Skadi there to help him, I'm afraid he doesn't really offer all that much. Unlike some of the other names on this list, Helena Blavatsky is a servant who I feel is a little bit slept on within the FGO community. She doesn't get the same credit or recognition as some of her peers like Caster Gilgamesh, yet she is a highly effective and flexible support unit that brings a great deal to almost any team. She brings with her a plethora of party-wide buffs, including up to a 20% party-wide NP charge, a fixed number of critical stars over 5 turns, and up to a 20% buff for all 3 types of card, Buster, Quick, and Arts. This also makes her one of the few non-5 stars to bring with her a party-wide NP charge, and in fact her 20% charge when mana tuning is leveled up to 10 is equal to that of Merlin's dreamlike charisma. Another potential benefit of Helena is that she has great supporting damage potential. This is especially the case if the buff on her Noble Phantasm hits. This buff is granted through her second skill. While this is chance dependent, if it hits, Helena's damage is impressive for a 4-star AoE caster, but her usage as a damage support character can be inconsistent. Finally, Helena's greatest asset is that she is incredibly flexible. This is because of the type of buffs that she brings to any team. She brings an NP charge buff, she drops critical stars over 5 turns, and she provides a buff for every card type. This flexibility means that she can be used in almost any lineup. Her benefits are truly universal. Every team needs an NP battery, critical stars, thus she is potentially the most flexible support unit of any non-5-star. However, her greatest strength may also be her greatest weakness. Unlike other support casters like Caster Gilgamesh, she lacks any clear specialization. While all of her skills provide solid benefits to any team, she fails to stand out in any individual niche. The diverse and broad nature of Helena's skills means that she really fails to specialize in any one area. As a result, when building specific team compositions, there will likely always be a support unit that better fits the particular niche the master is looking for, as opposed to Helena's more generalized buffs. Furthermore, her skills, while all effective in their own right, have incredibly long cooldowns. This will not be too problematic for newer players. However, as time goes on and fights begin to last longer, this may pose a problem. Finally, like many of the 4-star AoE casters, Helena lacks any form of self-protection. While it is true that Helena lacks specialization, I think she is an excellent unit, especially for beginners, bringing so much to every team. While she may lack a specialization, she fits the needs of beginner masters perfectly. Every new master needs an NP battery, critical stars, and damage buffs, and she brings all of this to the table. Specialization is not so important for newer players. Instead, they need well-rounded teams. And in achieving this, there is almost no support better than Helena Blavatsky. In regards to taking a safe pick, there are a few that are safer than Chiron. An excellent damage support hybrid. He can act as both a lead damage or an excellent support. One of his standout features is that he provides a significant Buster, Quick, and Arts buff to one ally for 3 turns. He also increases party-wide critical strength. This easily makes him one of the best non-caster supports in the entire game. Furthermore, he also has a form of survivability through his evade skill. Notably, his Buster Quick Arts buff can also be used on himself, turning him from a support into a more damage-centric character. That said, while a safe pick, Chiron's ceiling is probably lower than many of the other servants here. However, if you're looking for a versatile servant, there are few better than Chiron. For the last two picks in this list, I'm going to do something a little bit different. First of all, I'm going to recommend two particular AoE farmers if you don't want to go for any of the ones we've listed so far. In particular, two I want to highlight are Saber Alter and Lancer Alter, who I would rank as being among the two best farmers in the game. Both have very high damage potential. They have good stats, strong buster based kits and noble phantasms, and a powerful mana burst. Furthermore, both have AoE noble phantasms, and thus make for highly effective farmers. This is even the case in comparison to other 4-star farmers such as Darwin. That said, they also have usage beyond farming. Both are high damage dealers, and Lancer Alter in particular is suited to a 1-turn burst of damage, making use of her Buster Kit. This is through her second skill, Protection of World's End, rank A, which not only drops critical stars in the same way that Saber Alter's Intuition skill does, but also increases Lancer Alter's critical star pull rate and critical damage strength, thus improving the chance that Lancer Alter is able to land a highly powerful critical hit. Despite only having one art card, Lancer Alter also has surprisingly good NP gain. That said, as you can see, both picks have been put together. This is because neither of them are perfect. They're both highly vulnerable, lacking any form of survivability. Furthermore, Saber Alter in particular has a very basic kit that does seem somewhat outdated. Finally, one reason why you may not want to pick either of these servants despite their obvious capability is the fact that AoE characters are quite common. This is particularly the case for Sabers. There are simply many 4-star Sabers that have an AoE noble phantasm. Something that's a bit rarer, however, is a single target Saber, and that is the focus for our final entry on this list. Given their general rarity in the game, it's never a bad decision to take a single target Saber from this ticket, and there are two excellent arts-based Sabers, Lancelot Dulac and Yadu Munenori. Yadu Munenori is quite a simple character, yet one who can be devastatingly effective. His entire build is dedicated towards one turn of heavy arts-based damage, which includes the usage of his noble phantasm. His gameplay essentially occurs in two stages. The first is attempting to build up his NP gauge. His third skill, Swordless Form rank A, is expressly designed for this, coming with a huge 1-turn NP gain buff. It also lowers the attack of one enemy, containing strong defensive value as well, particularly against more powerful enemies. Then, once his NP gauge has been filled, it moves on to the second and most important part of his gameplay. 1 turn of extremely high arts-based damage. This is done both through his first skill, which increases arts card effectiveness, as well as the C-star gather rate of arts cards. This makes his arts cards particularly potent and helps to ensure he can crit with them. His second skill, Suigetsu rank B, is a 1-turn evade, but also increases his attack for 1 turn. Using the first and second skill in tandem, on a turn when his Noble Phantasm, in addition to his 2 Arts command cards are available, allow Munenori to do an exceptional amount of damage on that 1 turn. If you're looking for more sustained damage, however, then feel free to turn to Lancelot, who is also an excellent choice. Much like his Berserker form, Lancelot's kit revolves around crits. However, unlike his Berserker form, he is far more self-sustainable. His first skill, Knight of the Lake rank A, not only increases his NP gauge, but also drops critical stars for himself. His third skill, Knight of Owner, also drops critical stars for himself, this time over 3 turns. It also provides a 3-turn critical buff. To ensure that it is Lancelot who actually gets these stars, however, you can also make use of his second skill, Eternal Arms Mastery. This increases his C-star gather rate. This allows for 3 turns of sustained high-quality critical damage from Lancelot, making him an exceptional saber. This is not even to get into his rather unique Noble Phantasm. An arts-based single-target Noble Phantasm, Arrondite Overload not only deals significant damage, but also leads to enemies taking greater amounts of damage for 5 turns after the NP has hit. This allows his critical hits to be even more potent. One potential downside of Lancelot compared to Munenori is that he lacks hard survival skills. However, he makes up for this with the sustained critical damage presence. Both Munenori and Lancelot are excellent picks for this ticket. Either way, you're not going to miss if you take one of these sabers. Well, that's all for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And whoever you pick, I hope you have fun. I've been Tunes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe and tell me in the comments who you're going to pick. As for me, I still have no idea. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.